Good morning, guys. Welcome back to Cross Timbers Bison. This is Morgan. This is our beautiful Cora. Been working with Cora, getting her saddle ready. Pretty soon, instead of checking Bison with that, I'm going to be using that right there. Oh, Cora. Recently, we just did a prescribed burn on 49 acres. I cannot wait to show you how it all looks now. And guess who's in there? Let's go take a look. Come on, let's go. Right here. Attaboy. Well, we don't have to go far. Look at here. Good morning, Dunbar herd. What is up, everybody? Woo! All looking peachy, healthy. You guys are loving that green grass. Oh, we got a runner over here. There's Belle. She says, I don't want to miss out. That look good. This fresh growth of grass right here. So this is part of the burn unit, the 40 acres we burnt. This right here is 9 acres. That was part of that 49. It's just kind of a square 9. Golly, some of these mamas just didn't calve out this year. They're looking so plumpy and healthy and crazy. Hey, Peaches. Good morning. We still got some stragglers coming in the back here. Coming to see what's happening. I see you guys way back there. They're probably going to go down these fire breaks here where we brush hogged, so we cleaned it up for them, and it's easy for them to get to the tender grass. So I'm assuming they're going to keep going down these fire breaks. There's Dunbar. Hey, Dunbar. Hey, buddy. Let's see how Blackjack's doing. He's back here. There's Mr. Blackjack. He's holding up really well. Doing good. There's the tubs. You can see they've been munched on quite a bit. They broke it in half, which is fine. Gives each other more room to eat. Take little bites off of it. So every summer, for some reason, Dunbar breaks down. And I don't know if it's the stress of having too many females, because when we brought him over here in May to get him established, so he could kind of start over, getting to know some of these females again, which he's been around them all before, and get ready for breeding season. That's kind of why we switched up the Big Joe Dunbar. We're going to give Dunbar an opportunity, but for some reason, he always falls apart. He gets skinny right there in his hips and in his hindquarters, and he just struggles when it comes to breeding season. And I love Dunbar. He's my baby boy, always will be. But if you want to get honest here and you want to really get down to it, you can't have your breed bull, your main breed bull, like Dunbar, breaking down in the middle of breeding season. When I say breaking down, he loses a lot of muscle. He gets thin. You can see it there. It's not, I'm not happy whenever I see that. And you look at the rest of them, Blackjack and all these cows, they're super fleshy. They're healthy right now. We've got rain this summer that's helped us get some regrowth during our warm season. The calves are healthy. And then Dunbar, like he's done in the past, and last summer he went down where he stopped eating for like 4 days. And we had to scramble to get him back going again. But it's just, it is tough to tough to watch him go through this every time. And so like this time of the year, it can get hard, especially if we're in a drought, and the conditions are right. Maybe we've got a lot of rain like we did early in the year, in the summer. Oh, he's gonna give him a roll. Atta boy. Dust off, try to get some of them flies off of him. But Dunbar has great conformation. And what I mean by conformation is their body structure. Basically, how do they look? Now, when you compare him and Big Joe, he's a shorter bodied bull. I explained this as we were kind of talking about bringing Dunbar from Mom and Kevin's, the Lynch property, the OG, over to the Ponderosa. I was explaining genetics and stuff like that. Now, he's a Canadian River Bison genetics, which is Doc Parsons up in Stratford. He's my first bull I ever got, if some of you guys are new to the channel. He's really tall from his hump down to his breast, or his brisket, right here. He's actually taller than Big Joe. You wouldn't know it, but I've seen them side by side, unfortunately. So he's got the frame up front. However, he's got a little old butt, like a little old skinny butt. And he's just a little shorter. Big Joe is longer. Big Joe is more meaty, essentially. And he just has a stockier frame as far as bone structure goes than Dunbar. That's just, if you're really getting down to breeding and you're looking for a bull that just is your main man. And Dunbar and Big Joe are our main man. But you look at the younger guy here. Now, Dunbar's 8 years old. Right, when they get up there in age, they still should hold on. And they still should not break down in the summer, especially when you've got 19 females to cover. But that's why you have this jackwagon right here, Black Jack. Okay, that's why you got to have him in here, is to clean up essentially whatever Dunbar doesn't cover. And someday, Black Jack is going to be bigger than Dunbar, and that's how the cookie crumbles. Someday, Dunbar will retire. He'll just get older and he'll get lazier and he won't want to cover them. But he's going to be one of our breed bulls in our program for as long as he can. He'll always be with us. I'm just trying to explain from a bison rancher standpoint, or from a livestock producer. These are the same things that you go through with sheep, goats, cattle, horses. You look at structure, you look at conformation, you look at genetics and all those things, and performance. How is he performing? Now, we won't know if all these females are covered until next spring, obviously. But we've got some plans. Since we are taking Big Joe to the state fair here in Oklahoma City in a couple weeks, he'll be on a trailer, and we may be up to something again as far as switching around properties and stuff. Remember, he's over at the lease property with 4 females, and 4 calves right now, which they're doing great, by the way. So this is one of the benefits of patch burning during a different times of the year. Luckily, we got some rainfall, and there's places in this burn, this 49 acres, where it's 4 or 5 inches tall. And so because we burnt, we've got the regrowth, there's more protein in it now, which is healthier for these guys. So it's almost like a second cutting of your hay, right? So the fact that we were kind of getting out of the growing season, we did the burn, we got that regrowth, and it's tender, it's healthier for them, it's just more flavor, and it's got more protein in it. And that is awesome. And it's good for the land. That's the number one thing we did it for. It wasn't just to feed these guys. That's one of the benefits of it. And if you look across here too, now they've been hammering this spot, I can see. They've been moving all around the Ponderosa when we've been coming out and checking them. But the other thing here is, what we just did here when we burnt, is we created a huge deer food plot. Instead of planting, coming in here and tilling up the land, and creating a deer food plot, we just did it. We just did it by doing it a very cheap way. No spraying, just a little bit of effort and letting Mother Nature take its course. We created a deer food plot as well. If I'm not mistaken, deer season is right here around the corner. So the deer will come into this and will eat as well, because guess what? They love that fresh, tender growth stuff as well. Now, they eat a little bit different than the bison. We do know that. However, they're browsers. They're going to eat some of the forbs. They're going to eat some of the legumes and some of the grasses. Why? Because it's tasty as well. So not only are we benefiting the bison and the land, we're helping other wildlife species out as well. All right, so when you look right here, this is all fresh regrowth. This is probably 7 or 8 inches tall. Now, this looks like Johnson grass to me. That's okay, because what's gonna happen is those bison are gonna come in here and they're gonna get that. They're gonna get all this fresh growth. And this is something that we actually want them to hammer. We prefer not to have Johnson grass. It's great forage and whatnot, but as far as our native species of grasses, we don't want this to be dominant. We want little blue stem, big blue stem, switchgrass, and Indian grass. Now, some of that's coming up in a lot of these places, but Johnson grass can be dominant. It can also be fast growing, fast recovery. But this is gonna be super tender. It's very palatable. Other than being 5 or 6 foot tall, they don't want that tall stuff. They'll strip the leaves off of it, but this is really good and tasty for them, and it should have some more protein in it than it would normally this time of the year. So what I did is I've locked them out of this 9 acres because I really want to see the growth in this before I let them in here. I also put up an exclusion. If you saw when I put out the tubs, I built an exclusion as well. And I just really want to see how much growth we can get within the 2 weeks. And you're looking across here and you see all this green right here. That is regrowth. Now, some of these are weeds, like our ragweed here, that didn't get charred. Some of it did, some of it didn't. Part of this one actually did, still alive. But you see all this right here is fresh, tender regrowth. Now, something's already been coming in here and nipping on this, I can see. Hadn't been bison. More than likely the deer. But this is great stuff. Regrowth. Oh, there you go, right here. This is some Indian grass. Oh, it looks like switchgrass. Look at that, switchgrass seeding out right there. That's so cool. Right here on an ant mound. This looks like Indian grass, possibly some blue stem. But right now, we're coming out of the growing season, and so this is awesome to have out here. Now, we don't want to take too much. We want to still leave some to keep our ground covered over the winter. We'll probably let them come back here and graze some winter stuff. That'll be fabulous for them as well. So we want to keep some cover over the soil. We don't want to run into the winter bare, because it needs to be covered all winter long. So that will help us in the spring. Now we're going to plant some cover crops up here on some acreage like we normally do to try to rehabilitate some grasses. But for an important part of not overgrazing your burn unit and your fresh growth, we've got to leave some of that stuff for coverage over our topsoil. Guys, also can be sure to check out our website at crosstimbersbison.com. We have some of the best bison jerky you'll ever eat on our website, crosstimbersbison.com. Now, I think one of the reasons that Dunbar breaks down so hard is, for some reason, I honestly think that the parasites really get to him. I don't know why him. There is some stress on these bulls. They've got some weight on them to really cover these cows. Now, there's not, I'd say, the ratio shouldn't be that difficult for him, but maybe it is. maybe his herd size needs to be reduced on how many females he can cover. Maybe that's 5, maybe that's 10 instead of 19 in that herd. He does have a backup bull, so he's competing against Blackjack, who's way younger than him. And Dunbar's the dominant one, so there shouldn't be a whole lot of stress there. But I will say, Dunbar's trying to cover those females, and he's also trying to keep Blackjack away from him. So he is working, and that creates some stress, and which makes the worm load, the parasites, okay, more susceptible to him and can be more damaging. If an animal is already stressed out, that worm load can really take a hold. And last summer, it was hot and dry, and I'm not sure why, but the parasites got after him then. When he was here before, and we also had Big Joe here, the parasites got him then. And this year again, we've had a healthy growing season. Got some rain. Again, the parasites got him. And so I'm not exactly sure. I could really talk to my vet to find out, because I hate seeing our baby boy like that as well. And I'm not saying Big Joe hasn't broke down. We've had to dart him a couple of times here and there, but Dunbar really loses weight in that hind end and in his butt. And I hate seeing that for him, because during breeding season, we need him to be at tip-top shape as much as he can be. So anytime I get out and record or walk away or video, the ranch hand disappears. He goes on a walkabout, but anytime I start the ATV, he shows up. I don't have to yell for him. Watch this. Boing! Here he comes. Come on, Bullet! Attaboy! Come on. Good job, Bullet. Well, I just moved our turkeys here. Little baby turkeys, got some Easterns in there, got some Rios, and then our 4 chocolate Orpingtons that we raised with the turkeys. But something I wanted to show you, and this is where a lot of farmers and ranchers can go wrong, is so this right here is what we call ragweed. There's different species of ragweed. This is probably a common ragweed, also known as a weed to most people. I'm gonna make some points here that before you go brush hogging these down, yes, they're not what you call an ornamental plant, all right, but they do provide some good things. Before you go and brush hog them down because of looks, be careful. There's a couple of things that these guys provide that's important. So I just rotated this pin in here, and there's a lot of ragweed just in this specific area on this hill. Happens sometimes on hills, but it's typically, this is an indicator of overgrazing or over traffic. So a lot of stomping and a lot of traffic, which basically compounds the soil, and then plants like these guys come up here. But with common ragweed, if you pay attention right here, that right there is very important. Those little seeds are feed for quail and doves. So some of you dove hunters, pay attention to that. Also, this plant, you can see the variety of height of this plant. It creates different levels of habitat for your grassland birds. So quail, which we're trying to bring back here in Oklahoma, it's been a topic since I was in college in the early 2000s. I'm sure it's been a topic long before that. But plants like these give cover for birds and protection from predators, and then also feed. So before you go brush hogging this plant right here, because maybe you did a little bit of overgrazing or too much compaction on your soil, stop and think about it a second. You may be taking care of other species besides whatever livestock you're raising. Well, you guys follow my brother-in-law from Arms Family Homestead. Then you know I kind of had a little incident over there hauling some hay using my brother-in-law's tractor. Yep, I had a little dusty moment, and I gotta go take care of it. So that's where we're headed next. Well, a lot of you, if you don't already follow my brother-in-law, Daniel from Armstrong Homestead, you probably already know the situation if you watch some of his recent videos, but been hauling hay. Daniel had some hay cut and we got 80 bales off of it. Well, in the middle of hauling the hay, I've been using Daniel's tractor here. It's TYM. I had a little hiccup and I bumped, sort of crashed maybe, into my buddy's hay trailer and damaged the front. Crushed this plastic, popped the lights out, and damaged the hood. Just a little bit, just banged it up. And so here I am underneath this tractor, taking it apart to get the hood off so I can see if I can get the hood repaired. And then we'll go from there. I already ordered the black stuff here, kind of the grill, I guess you could say. I ordered the new lights, $260 a piece. And yeah, so now we're working on the hood. Add it to the list. Gotta take this little, these cylinders off here, hold it up, unbolt it there. It's actually not that bad. Unhook the wiring for the lights. I think we're okay. Yeah. Well, just to let you guys know, I felt pretty bad about this. I know he had talked about maybe selling this tractor and then I go and do something like that. And he had just pulled away too. I mean, we were over there on that east side hauling hay, just getting started, kind of just gotten a rhythm, gone through all other sorts of shenanigans just to get to the hauling hay point. And that's just part of it. When you think you can come out here and do something and it takes, you know, an hour or so, just multiply that by 3 or 4, you know, kind of when you're dealing with me sometimes. And I think that's just farming and ranching in general, and sometimes just me. But, you know, I banged this up. Luckily, it didn't damage anything. Radiator, fan, fluid, battery, none of that stuff in the front. Didn't damage any of that. Whew. Price goes up when you start damaging that. It's running fine. They've almost got this entire pasture cleared. Daniel's got some hay stacked up here because I know he's selling, unless he's already sold it between my video and his. Got that off, and I'm going to take it locally and see if we can get the damage done, because if I can't get this hood repaired, then a new hood for that TYM 5835R is, I got to quote, a throbbing $2,800 for the entire hood assembly. So, you know, I asked Daniel, I said, can I go ahead and just try to get it done locally to see if, and get a little cheaper, just get it done, get it fixed. We're going to see. The body guy, his name is Squeeze, said maybe. So I got to take it to him. Maybe he can fix it. If not, $2,800 later. Ooh, it's going to hurt. But hey, it's my fault. I got to take responsibility for it. And what I was going to say was, a lot of the times that stuff happens, and I think a lot of farmers and ranchers, or just people in general, in life can understand, and people just in life know this. When you're in a hurry, a lot of the times things go bad. A lot of the times things can happen. And I was in a hurry. It started to rain. I wanted to be at home with my little family. And I was in a hurry trying to get this hay hauled on something that should be so simple. I went a little too hard, crushed the front of it. Yep, so most of the time things happen or damage is done. It's from just being in a hurry. And that was the situation here. So now I got to go get it fixed. thank you guys for watching us. We'll see you guys soon. We're going to keep on bison ranching.